of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
The Indians return home from a winning interleague road trip and now host a key 7-game homestand against the AL Central. It's no secret the Tribe has struggled at home, but as the second half tees off at Progressive Field, it's time to turn that trend around. First up, a White Sox team that has struggled within the division, and Trevor Bauer looks to go 3-0 against the Pale Hose. Next on Sports Time Ohio. The Indians return home to Progressive Field for the first time since the All-Star break as the Tribe welcomes in the Chicago White Sox. A key Central Division showdown begins tonight right here on Sports Time Ohio. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. We've been saying for quite some time now that the Indians need somebody other than Jason Kipnis, other than Michael Brantley to step up offensively. Well, slowly but surely, they're starting to see that. Francisco Lindor, Yan Gomes, even Carlos Santana. Those three on the most recent road trip combined to hit .345, 8 extra base hits, 10 runs batted in. But as we know, Rick, this offense still is only going to go as far as Michael Brantley pushes it.
Well, he's been very good. And I think that 3 days off at the All-Star break certainly has helped Michael, at least his back, get a little better, and maybe mentally, because he's coming back. He's always been a good hitter, but he's been taking his base hits the other way. Now he's hitting with a little more power. He's second in the league in doubles with 27, and he comes back a couple of 3-run home runs, big 3-run home runs, hitting .415, 17 for 41. So I think the rest did Michael really good, and I think the other guys are going to start pitching in, and let's hope they do because they have to do it at home.
Well, we know the Indians have had their struggles offensively this year. They're 11th in the American League in runs scored, and guess what? That's still 60 runs better than the Chicago White Sox. When we come back, Andre Knott joins us to talk about the great pitching matchups we'll see in this series throughout the weekend between the Indians and the White Sox. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud sponsors of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. the bullpen. A game-tying 3-run home run for Michael Brantley. Kick this, runs it down. What a play by the all-star second baseman. Urshela to second for one. On the first, a double play ends the game. Oh, good to be back home here at Progressive Field as the Indians get ready to open up this 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox, a team that has lost 4 straight coming into town here today. Let's go down to Andre Knott. You know, you could make maybe the false assumption that as the pitching goes, so go the Indians. But they still have to score. So if you look at these pitching matchups, Andre, you got the tough right-hander today for Chicago, and then nothing but lefties the rest of the series.
You have the lefties, and I already talked to Murphy, and Murph told me, he goes, talk to me in the next couple of days. I won't be working. The pitching matchups are going to be huge. The other thing when you look at it is the runs. The White Sox have not been scoring very well. They came out hot for a little while, but they haven't been scoring, and the pitching staff for the Indians know that. Then you look on the other side. Can the Indians score against these pitchers from the White Sox? Earlier tonight, talking to Terry Francona, he goes, look, Jeff Samardzija is making his first start here. He goes, I was hoping he wasn't making it. I was hoping he'd be traded by the time 7-10 came tonight. He's a competitive guy that they're going to have to attack tonight. The other thing is, it's been almost a full month since the Indians have played a team from the American League Central, and throughout this clubhouse and inside that dugout right now, they know if they want to make the playoffs, you have to start beating these teams from the AL Central. It starts tonight, and for the next 7 days, guys, you get 4 against the White Sox, and you get 3 against the Royals. And this team knows if they're going to go where they want to go, it's time to start beating these teams, especially here at Progressive Field.
No doubt about that, Andre. They have to turn it around in the Central. They're 14-22 this year. Chicago's 16-28, so they're going to have to get after it. But Trevor Bauer is on the mound for the Indians tonight, and Trevor's had his way against the White Sox this year. He's 2-0, but he should be 3-0. The bullpen gave up one of his wins, but Bauer has been very good. He'll be matched up against Jeff Samardzija. Samardzija 6 innings, 6 hits, and no runs. Got the win against the Indians in April. And you can see what Trevor Bauer has done against the Sox in 3 starts, 2-0 and a 133.
Well, it's safe to say it's a very important stretch of baseball for the Indians. For a lot of teams in baseball, with that trade deadline looming, more and more rumors starting to swirl around every team. Who's available, who's not available, who might be going somewhere, who's staying put. All of that is the backdrop for all of these teams who are still fighting, scratching, and clawing to stay alive, to give themselves a chance at a possible postseason run.
Yeah, and when you're a ball player, you just got to stay within yourself, and you can't worry about if you're going somewhere or if you're not. There's always talk, and there always will be when it comes to the trade deadline. You got to go out there and, put the blinders on, do your job, and do whatever you can do. There's talk all over the place. 31st of July, so we have about a week to go. And we will see what happens. And a lot of talk is going right there on that guy. Samardzija is supposed to be going somewhere. He's a free agent at the end of the year. So, if anybody has any pressure on him, it might be him.
Well, we saw Johnny Cueto didn't maybe handle it very well. Whether that had anything to do with it or not, he did not pitch well when the Indians faced him Sunday in Cincinnati. So
no, he did not. But Samardzija's been pitching very well.
Our window system's game time temperature, 76 perfect degrees. There is not even a whisper of a breeze here tonight at Progressive Field. Flags hanging limp. I mean, this is just about as ideal as we've seen all season long.
It's beautiful. No humidity, no heat. You got to love it.
Trevor Bauer takes the field as the Indians look to get the homestand started off on the right foot. And for Trevor Bauer, obviously an important start for him as he tries to bounce back from what was a really rough start his last time out against the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the starting lineup for Robin Ventura and the Chicago White Sox, brought to you by Toyota. Adam Eaton will lead it off, followed by Tyler Saladino. Melky Cabrera will hit third. Jose Abreu has tortured the Indians this year. Then it's Adam LaRoche, Avisail Garcia, Alexei Ramirez, Giovanni Soto, and Carlos Sanchez will bat ninth.
And Trevor Bauer is our Northern Ohio Honda dealer starting pitcher tonight, making his 19th start this year. Trevor Bauer is 3-3 at home with a .582 earned run average. He's coming off a rough start, as you said, in Cincinnati, and he's been pitching very well on the road. But in his last start here against right here in this ballpark, he beat Houston after going 8 innings. So we'll see if Trevor can go out, get on the right track, get it started. Game 1 is going to be the importance for the Indians here in this homestand when you're playing in your division, something that they have to do better with. We'll see if Trevor can get him started on the right foot as we set the defense behind him tonight, which is brought to you by Chrysler. In the outfield from left to right, it'll be Brantley, Bourne, and Moss. On the infield, Mike Aviles gets the start at third tonight. Lindor at short. Kipnis is at second. Santana at first. And Gomes doing the catching.
And the umpires, Marty Foster will call the balls and strikes. Adam Hamari is at first. Mike Moklinski is at second. The crew chief, John Hirschbeck, is at third. Keys to the game brought to you by Wayside Furniture. For Trevor Bauer, turn it around at home. Not only Bauer, but this entire Indians ball club. And the hit with runners in scoring position, so important. The Indians have had opportunity after opportunity. That's the good news, I guess. If you want to look at it like the eternal optimist, the glass half empty versus half full, they're getting the opportunities. And the big reason why is they're taking their walks. They walked, 100 more times than Chicago has this year?
Yeah, they have. You're absolutely right. Chicago is second to last in the league in walks with 205. The Indians have 334. So
they're getting their walks. They're getting their opportunities. They just got to try to cash in. We'll see what happens here tonight. We're underway as Bauer lets it fly. It's up high, ball one to Adam Eaton. Eaton, a good eye at the plate like a leadoff man should have. He's walked in 6 straight games. Bloops one to center. Bourne runs in to make the catch. One away. You heard Bob Tack announce Tyler Saladino, a guy we haven't seen yet this year. He was not part of the White Sox 25-man roster when we faced them earlier. He's done a nice job, though. He's hit in 7 of his last 8. Coming off a 3-hit game, a career best Tuesday against St. Louis.
Yeah, it was always Connor Gillespie who was playing third base over there, who always seemed to play the Indians very well.
Did he ever?
But Saladino, he's a middle infielder per se, like a second baseman, but he's been doing a whale of a job at third.
Hit right to the third baseman, and that's Mike Aviles here tonight. And he throws him out, 2 down. Aviles getting the start at the hot corner. Up comes Melky Cabrera. Cabrera's been swinging the bat much better of late. On the year at 260 mark. Last 25 games, he's batted .326. Trevor Bauer trying to work through this first inning. He's retired the first 2, and boy, for whatever reason, the first inning, home or away, has been a problem spot for the Indians. They've been outscored at home in the first inning, 32-14 on the year.
I'll tell you, it's a problem spot for the Chicago White Sox as well. The first inning runs.
Wow.
2 teams have, I think, allowed the most in baseball.
Is that right? They've been outscored 72
yes,
to 27 in the first
yes.
inning?
You just reverse it, 72, yeah. And, you know, they're a team that doesn't, they're last in the league in runs scored, so if they fall behind early, they're playing catch-up all the time, too, and it's hard to do.
The 3-1 pitch. In there for a strike, full count. A little bit of irony there. You get Carlton Fisk, who wore 27 with the Boston Red Sox, wore 72 when he came to Chicago, but that's not the kind of 72 they want to see. 3-2 offering, and it's low, ball 4. So it won't be a 1-2-3 first inning for Bauer. Well, last year, the White Sox gave up 95 runs in the first inning for the entire season. So they weren't exactly great last year in the first frame either. Jose Abreu now looking at a pitch outside corner for a strike. Abreu went into the break with a 13-game hitting streak. Came out of the break 4 for his last 24.
But you know how dangerous this guy can be.
That's smashed right to the second baseman, Kipnis, who flips it to Lindor, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, one man left. The Indians are coming to bat. Before we get a look at the Indians starting lineup, take another look at this smash off the bat of Abreu that zipped past Bauer.
Look at it, made him jump at the mound. You don't realize how hard those balls are getting past there.
Indians starting lineup brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Jason Kipnis has hit in 5 straight, leading it off. Then it's Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley third, Murphy, Santana, and Gomes in the middle. Brandon Moss, Mike Aviles gets the start at third, and Michael Bourne will bat ninth.
And tonight's Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher, Jeff Samardzija. Samardzija, 8 consecutive starts of throwing at least 7 innings. In that time, he's 2-2 and a .334. But in his last 3 starts, a beautiful 1.90 ERA, 175 batting average against. And, he's been pitching very well in the month of July. Good fastball, slider, changeup. He did beat the Indians on April 22nd, where he went 6 innings and 6 hits, did not allow a run.
That's popped out of play down the left side. Kia in the driver's seat features Jason Kipnis tonight. He's reached base 155 times out of the leadoff spot. Far and away the most in the American League. Way outside, 2-2. Tell you what's interesting is before this year began, it seemed like every time we played the White Sox, Jason Kipnis dialed it up. But this year, for whatever reason, Chicago has held him at bay, just 5 for 35 and 1 RBI.
Yeah. That's funny how it goes sometime.
Now, granted, some of that was early. Now, this might be playable here, and it is. Saladino grabs the pop foul for out number 1.
Let's set that Sox defense for you. Brought to you by Chrysler. It's Cabrera, Ayton, Garcia in the outfield. Saladino making that play at third. Ramirez is at short. Sanchez at second. LaRoche is at first. Soto doing the catching.
Francisco Lindor coming off a terrific road trip in which he went 8 for 23 with a home run and 5 runs scored. Out of play. Lindor swinging the bat. Pretty good clip here of late. 1-1. Down and in, he missed 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1 offering. Hit on the ground right at the second baseman. Carlos Sanchez throws out Lindor, 2 away. Robin Ventura says of Jeff Samardzija, he's a horse. I'm surprised if he doesn't throw 120 pitches every time he goes out there. Said he's been very good for the club this year. And he said, look, all the rumors that are out there, the trading deadline stuff, it crosses your mind. But he said at the same time, you have to put that aside because you know there's a game at 7 o'clock. And the game isn't going to wait on any rumors.
No. You know, you find out as a player, your name's going to be bantered around. There's nothing you can do about it. You can worry yourself if you want to do that. But you find out the longer you've been around, it doesn't matter.
Well, he doesn't look worried at all tonight. 10 pitches. Indians go 1-2-3. No score after 1.
Baseball all season long with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. You can stay connected with live radio broadcast, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Trevor Bauer into the windup, and he deals. Adam LaRoche grounds it off his foot to first base, and it's a foul ball.
Tell you what, that was just like a normal ground ball, even getting a piece of that foot.
Had the umpire not raised his hand, I would have thought it was just a regular ground ball.
A lot of times it goes straight down and it deadens the ball, so it just must have nicked a spike or something. Let's see. God, I guess right off the top. It's really hard to see there, but it did get a piece of it.
Well, Roche never even react. You know, a lot of times the guys will yelp or react in some way.
Must have the steel-toed spikes.
The umpire must have heard a doink, something.
I'm telling you, I'm just wondering how long it's going to take before they get like a vest for their shoes.
Kevlar shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Where you can pound it off, you won't even feel it. We see Trevor do that about every start where I think it's a breaking ball that he bounces out way out in front of home plate trying to keep it down.
Now the 2-1. Good pitch. LaRoche looked like he wanted to get after it, but I think because it was right around the belt, maybe a little too high for his liking, he laid off.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for him. That red belt and above, as any left-hander is.
Got a piece of that to stay alive.
You've been known to get him out with fastballs up that he cannot catch up to.
Now the 2-2 offering. Up high, he missed. And now a full count. Broke his bat right between the legs of Bauer.
Sure did.
But how about Mike Aviles with the shift on, able to track it down and throw him out one away.
Yeah, there's where the defense comes into play and makes a play. The third baseman right up the middle. Watch, it goes right between Bauer's legs as he's crossing over, and he wanted to get out of the way, and he jumps through it. But here comes Aviles, and he's your third baseman tonight, making a play over second base. How about that?
That's pretty good stuff.
Watch the footwork here by Bauer. I don't blame him. Get out of the way. No, that ball's too hard. It'll hurt.
Avisail Garcia. Mired in a tough stretch right now. In his last 10 games, Garcia has hit just a $156.
You know, this is the one guy we thought coming into the year being healthy after missing last year. They needed him in the middle part of that lineup to back up Abreu. You know, just 31 RBIs. And LaRoche, they went out and signed him and thought he was going to be a big guy and hit home runs. They're last in the league in home runs, the White Sox team. And they're a team that has always been a perennial 200-homer team for the most part.
Only one starter in double figures in home runs for Chicago, and that's Jose Abreu, who has 14. That's hard to believe as we fast approach the final week of July.
It certainly is.
Now the 2-1. Out of play.
Doing a little work to the handle of that bat down there.
Another foul back. To center field, Bourne comes in and goes to his knees and makes the catch. 2 down.
Ball had some top spin to it. That's why he had to. He sort of inside out of the ball, and it gave it some top spin. So as he was coming in, he saw it was sinking fast. So you might as well catch it and go down just for protection. That thing had some sink to it.
And that will bring up Alexei Ramirez. Having his best month of the season, batting .288 here in July.
Well, he's one guy that, you know, he got off to such a great start last year and had a good year offensively, you still, with the game on the line or a runner in scoring position, this guy, he can jump up and bite you. You got to be careful with him.
Well, he jumps up and lines one into right center field for a base hit.
That was an elevated fastball from Trevor.
Our stat of the game is brought to you by Buick. You look at the records of the various teams within the Central Division. Indians have not done very well against their Central opponents, but they've still got an opportunity to correct that. Minnesota had lost 4 straight before they won this afternoon. Detroit lost again, so they slipped below the 500 mark. The Tigers might be the one team that is perhaps going to be more adversely affected by the trade rumors than any other club, because that was a team built to win, expected to win. It hasn't happened, and now it looks like it's coming to an end quickly. Check foul.
Well, this will all be over in about it won't be over in a week.
More than a week,
I mean,
yeah.
The speculation, because you can still trade after that deadline in a week. It's just the no waiver.
But now it's starting to heat up. This last week is definitely going to create a lot of rumors and stories.
Houston broke through with the ice. They wanted an extra starter. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, Giovanni Soto goes down hacking. Trevor Bauer gets his first strikeout. And we are scoreless, middle of the second. No score, bottom of the second inning. David Murphy, Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes due up here for the Tribe. Murphy squares around, takes it all the way for a strike.
Well, Murph has been struggling a little bit, putting good swings on the baseball. He could use a good night tonight, because if he feels he's not going to be playing in the next few days, you want to end it at least on a good note. Although even when he doesn't play, he usually kind of finds a way to get in here and pinch hit.
Yeah, I mentioned to you the other day when we were in Milwaukee, might have even been in Cincinnati. He just didn't look the same to me.
You're right.
And you said, well, 4 days off, a little bit of a layoff. Just looked like he sort of reverted back to trying to slap the ball, and he was in a groove where he was driving everything.
Yeah, he was staying back on the baseball more, it seemed like, and letting his hands work. I think his body's moving a little too much now, and he's really caught in between.
Pop to center for out number 1. Let's go down to Andre Knott, who has more on Jeff Samardzija.
Every person I talked to in the Indians clubhouse talking about competitiveness when it came to Jeff Samardzija. Terry Francona said, look, he played football for Notre Dame and went over the middle against the best teams in the country. He's not afraid. And he said he played in a golf tournament with Jeff Samardzija. He said he's not the best golfer, but he was darn competitive when it mattered most. He's also working on a change up to lefties that he's been using over the last few weeks. That's been working for him very well.
Well, he's a big horse. That's one thing you notice that really jumps out at you. I don't know how well it translates on TV, but when you're down there on the field, he is a big man.
He's a big dude, man. He's 30 years old, and he's going to be a free agent. And, this is a big time for him. He was traded last year going from the Cubs out to Oakland, and he was going to be a guy that really thought he was going to be somebody special, and it just never panned out. 6'5", 225.
That might be generous.
Well, you see, that's probably when he first signed coming out of college. I'll bet he's bigger than that now.
I can't believe he's 30 years old already. It seemed like just yesterday he was at Notre Dame.
It seemed like just yesterday I was 30. So come on, get over it.
It was a long time ago, my friend.
You got that right. It happens quickly.
Now the 1-2. Santana takes. White Sox have really put the clamps on Santana. He's just 2 for 21 against Chicago pitching this year, but he's in a better groove of late, coming off a pretty good road trip. Thing I noticed, Rick, more than anything, with Santana's offensive struggles, he's getting back to being more patient. He's taking his walks. On the road trip, he had 6 hits. He had 6 walks. There for a while, he wasn't even drawing his walks.
Well, because he wanted to hit everything. He's becoming a little more patient. He's getting a little more confidence because when you get hits, you get a little confidence.
With the shift on, that's the shortstop Ramirez who throws Santana out, 2 down. Take a look at our player profile brought to you by Levin Furniture. He was drafted by the Cubs after his All-American career at Notre Dame. And last year he went to the A's, and it was a huge deal because not only did Oakland get Samardzija, but they also got John Lester.
Yeah.
And it looked like, whoa, boy, they are loading up. But this it goes back to what we've said many times before about the trading deadline deals.
The hired guns. That's a tough spot to come into.
Yeah, they generate a lot of publicity, and there's a lot of talk and a lot of rumor, but they don't always turn out to be home runs.
No, you know what? It seems like the ones that fly under the radar, the lower scaled trades that aren't much talked about, turn out to be the best moves.
I'll give you one.
I don't know why that is.
I'll give you one that might not turn out to be a great move, but, for example, we just left Milwaukee. Today, Pittsburgh picked up Aramis Ramirez. He's retiring at season's end, but he's a veteran bat.
Yeah.
Just a complimentary piece. Complimentary piece for the Pirates.
Are you kidding me? They could put Gung over at second base while what's his name is
Mercer's hurt. Yeah.
That's right.
Samardzija cruising through 2, no score in Cleveland. Time to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag STODataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast brought to you by T-Mobile. Carlos Sanchez will lead off for Chicago here in the third inning. And he tries to line one down the left side, but it's out of play.
Bauer has been lights out against the Sox this year. The first game that he started against them, he won. And he only pitched 6 innings. The very next start in Chicago, he went 7 innings, allowed 4 runs, did not allow a run. He left that game leading 3-0, and the bullpen gave up 4 runs, and the Indians ended up losing. But he got a no decision. And then his last time out, 7 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run. He got the win, so he has been very tough. They've had a hard time figuring Trevor out.
.21 out of 35 pitches for strikes so far. Sanchez comes in with a 5-game hitting streak intact. Takes strike 3 called. So Bauer has rung up back-to-back White Sox hitters. And first time through the lineup, they go 1 for 8 against him with a walk.
Let's make this our Circle K strikeout of the night. A nice little comeback fastball on the inside corner. Locked him up. Couldn't pull the trigger. Good pitch.
Top of the order, and Adam Eaton, who fly to center, his only time up. Outside, ball 1. By the way, I mentioned earlier that Minnesota snapped a 4-game win streak or losing streak with their victory today. They stopped the Angels' 7-game win streak.
Yeah, the Angels have been playing very well.
Checked his swing. It's a called strike.
Yes.
Hit it off the end of the bat and a routine bouncer for Kipnis. 2 down. Rick mentioned the Scott Kazmir deal. He goes from the Oakland A's to the Houston Astros for a couple of minor leaguers. This year in 18 starts, only 10 decisions, but a very, very good ERA of 2.38. A lot of punch outs, only a few walks.
Well, he developed that changeup, and that's going to be a really big pitch for him down there in that Houston ballpark because he's a fly ball pitcher, and that's a smaller ballpark than pitching in Oakland.
Well, the one game I remember him pitching there, he didn't do very well.
That's what made Corey Kluber a starter,
exactly
as a
right.
matter of fact.
Yeah. Because didn't he have like a 7-run lead?
Yeah,
early?
it was his first start. Wasn't it coming out of after he was hurt from Toronto and making his first start down there in his home? And it didn't fare well. But, I mean, that's just one start. They wanted him, and it's certainly going to upgrade that rotation.
Slowly chopped to Santana. Bauer's there to cover. And the White Sox go 1-2-3 on 12 pitches. Middle of the third, no score. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. No score, bottom of the third. It will be the bottom third of the Indians' order due up. Brandon Moss, Mike Aviles, and Michael Bourne. For whatever reason, Brandon Moss has just not warmed up to Progressive Field this year. Hit hard but foul. Forget about the batting average. Let's throw that out. But just from a productivity standpoint, he's hit 15 homers, 48 runs batted in for the year. 2 homers, 16 RBIs at home.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
I don't think he could explain it. I mean, twice as many RBIs on the road, and
you know, I can see a couple of ballparks where you really feel comfortable in. It's just the look about them. But could this one be that bad for him here? You know, usually you develop a welcome or warming to a home ballpark where because you're here, you're coming every week or 10 days back to playing at home. You should get used to it, but for whatever reason he hasn't. I think earlier in the year when he hit a couple of good bolts, the weather was cold, it was windy, and it knocked some down, and it might have taken a little confidence away from him.
There is no doubt. He hit a ball, remember,
center field,
to center field. I mean, it was on any other day but the one he hit it. It's 20 feet, or if not more, beyond the outfield fence. And that one died on the warning track. And I think that was just the one where he just went, what
deflated,
is going on? Smashes the bat this time. It might drop. Garcia runs it down from his position in right field.
Boy, did that go into the seats, or did that go into the
Chicago
Diamond
dugout.
Suite?
Where
did it go into the dugout?
I'm not sure. I kind of lost track of it.
I know it came flying over.
I don't think Brandon cares where it went. It's just another piece of used lumber.
I don't know if it went into the seats or into the Diamond Suite, but it was coming hot. Looked like it might have made the seats. I didn't see anybody jumping, though.
No, I think you're right. I think I see it in the front row. I think somebody latched onto it.
That's Andre's seat in Milwaukee.
Yeah, there's the shard end of it.
Yeah, there it is. You're right. Front row with Andre.
There's the rest of it. A little crazy glue and put it back together.
That won't work.
1-1 pitch to third. Saladino backed up on it, throws him out. 2 away. Speaking of Andre, let's head out to the district and catch up with our man.
Thanks, Matt. Big weekend here at Progressive Field as the Indians will continue taking on the White Sox tomorrow night from 5 to 7. Pregame like no other. $2 domestic beers out here in the district, and it'll be a hot dog night and fireworks after the game. Then Saturday, we'll have the Larry Doby statue unveiled out here as well. That'll start around 4:30. Big weekend here at Progressive Field. Come on out and enjoy all the festivities, including the baseball games.
All right, thank you, Andre. I mean, a lot of fun this weekend. Great activities in and around the ball games. That's up high. 1-1.
Fireworks following Friday and Saturday. I'm looking forward to the Doby statue. That's long overdue.
Caught the outside corner. The 1-2 pitch is inside. He missed. I was fortunate enough to cover his Hall of Fame induction in Cooperstown, and also when they retired his number here in Cleveland. He was about as gracious and humble a star as you've ever met.
No question about it.
Downstairs, full count. And really impossible for me, maybe for you, to even comprehend what he had to go through to succeed.
Think any of us
as hard as
understand.
baseball is to begin with, he had to deal with a whole other layer to it.
I always say you can't judge a person until you walk a mile in a man's shoes. And I'll tell you what, there's no way we could understand. He was the first African American to come to the American League. And you know who we could get an idea from would be Mudcat Grant, who's going to be in here for the weekend.
Yeah.
And help celebrate the statue of Larry Doby. Boy, those guys paved a good road for the players that they have now.
Boy, Michael Bourne with a terrific at bat.
He dug that out.
That was a great AB, and he's going to go into second base with a 2-out double.
Yeah, you talk about he brought his hands in nicely and pulled it down the line. Something that, he hasn't done a lot because it seems like he's trying to serve the ball, but look at him pull the hands in, and it was quick through the baseball. That was a fastball. That wasn't an off-speed pitch. Well, Michael gets his 10th double, and it's a 2-out double. It'll give Kipnis an opportunity with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, Bourne had batted just 188 in his last 38 games. But that could be a nice 2-out spark here if Kipnis can bring him home. Instead, he pulls it up the first base line, and almost bobbled away by LaRoche. What looked to be as easy a play as he'll ever have nearly turned into a disaster. But the inning is over, and after 3, we have no score.
Dollar Dogs, $2 beer pregame, and fireworks presented by Wayside Furniture tomorrow night. The Indians will host the White Sox, and then KeyBank will treat fans to free items and perks all weekend long. Head down. Come on at Indians.com for your tickets.
Melky Cabrera, who walked his first time up, takes a strike.
Nice pitch.
Now the 0-2. Hit pretty well. Deep right field. Moss back. It's over his head and gone. Melky Cabrera with his 5th home run of the season, and it stakes Chicago to a 1-0 lead here in the 4th inning.
0-2 pitch. Way too good of a pitch to give Cabrera, and he takes him out of the yard. I think he tried to come inside with a fastball, and he didn't get it where he wanted it. It's only the 5th home run for Cabrera. It's the 15th given up by Trevor Bauer. There's a fastball in. He thought he had him for a fastball in, but you can see the quickness. He hits it out of here. Chicago takes a 1-0 lead.
Jose Abreu, the batter, bounced into a fielder's choice. And he takes ball 1. His first time up that end of the 1st inning. He hit the ball hard. And Abreu, really that's the first career hit for Melky Cabrera against Trevor Bauer, at least the first hit this year. Breaking ball in for a strike. Jose Abreu is 6 for 14 this year against Bauer. And there's his 7th hit of the season.
He always finds a way to get a base hit against the Indians. This is what makes him such a good hitter, because he can take it the other way. He let that ball track deep into the strike zone. That was a ball down and away that he roped to right field. Pretty swing from a big power right-hander.
He leads the White Sox with a dozen hits against Cleveland pitching this year. And now Adam LaRoche, a ground out victim his first time up.
Changeup. This seems to be the inning that bothers Trevor Bauer for whatever. Look
there
out.
Goes the bat.
There's a base hit to right.
LaRoche has been baffled. Back-to-back changeups by Bauer. And it's 0-2.
I mean, this one got right to the cut of the grass. Thank goodness it was over everybody's head. Lands safely. I was telling you about the 4th inning for Trevor Bauer, an ERA of 9.72 this year in the 4th inning.
Well, Rick, other than the 1st inning, the Indians as a staff have given up, well, now with that home run, they've given up more runs in the 4th than any other inning. They had been the same amount of runs as in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss. He got him to go fish again. So LaRoche strikes out. 3rd K for Bauer. 1 down here in the inning.
There's a breaking ball down in the dirt. You get him to chase it. You can see the spin takes off, and LaRoche could not hold up.
1 away for Avisail Garcia. Lined out the center. His only time up in the 2nd. White Sox losers of 4 straight. And 10 games under 500 on the road this year. But they've grabbed a 1-0 lead here in the 4th on a solo home run. Now Garcia shoots one by a diving Aviles. And it's the 3rd hit in the inning for Chicago. Injury report brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. David Freese of the Angels suffering a fractured right thumb. And Steve Pearce of the Orioles also sidelined with a dreaded oblique strain. You know, that's the other thing that sort of you never know and you can't account for with regards to the trading deadline is an injury at this point in the year. Kind of throws everything.
Yes, it does. Well, they occur all year long. You know, sometimes it's early. A guy has to wait, and you come back and you say, okay, it's going to be just like a trade. He'll be ready to go when the time comes. But boy, oh boy, you don't need anything seriously happening to any of your players now.
The 0-1 to Alexi Ramirez. He went down. I don't know that pitch was really that up and in, but
no. But you know what? I think he might have been looking away for something off speed, and it caught him by surprise.
Well, his first base hit was sort of the other way, stayed up the middle on it.
It was a high fastball, is what it was, but he wasn't going to leave this one out over the plate. He made sure that one had a little business to it.
And Ramirez trying to drive this one out of here. It is up. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Alexi Ramirez makes it 4-0 Chicago as the White Sox have touched Bauer for a 4 spot here in the 4th.
And that was a hanging high changeup from Trevor Bauer after he brushed him back with the fastball. Well, watch the changeup. It just stayed right there. And boy, Ramirez does what every hitter wants to do after getting one high and in. Look at that thing, just stayed middle and it came in, and Trevor knew it as soon as he hit it. What a mistake it was. So a pair of home runs. This one hurts. That's a 3-pointer. So it's 4-0 now, Chicago.
16 home runs allowed by Bauer now on the year. Giovanni Soto struck out his first time up. He swings and misses. It's 1-1. And a foul right back to the screen by Soto. Caught the outside corner. Soto has rung up 4th strikeout for Bauer.
Second time he's been able to get Soto. Well, right now a big 4-run 4th for the White Sox. So Bauer continues to struggle in this 4th inning, but there's a lot of game left. There are now zeros that have to be thrown on the board by Indians pitching the rest of the way.
Swung on and missed. Chased one in the dirt. And he chases one to strike out. Bauer gets his 5th strikeout, 3 here in the 4th inning. But the 3-run homer by Ramirez, the solo shot by Cabrera, and the White Sox lead it 4-0.
Fans in the right field district. That'll take place tomorrow as the Indians will continue this series with the White Sox. Fans can get 12-ounce cans for $2 from 5 to 7. So check out Indians.com for the tickets.
Francisco Lindor to lead off for Cleveland. Indians find themselves down 4 here in the bottom of the 4th. Lindor 0 for 1, grounded out. His only time up. Takes a strike over the inside corner. Upstairs. There were reports earlier today that the Astros had talked to the White Sox about acquiring Jeff Samardzija before they landed Scott Kazmir. And most folks that are around the White Sox all seem to figure that this guy's going to end up somewhere before the trading deadline comes and passes.
Well, you want to get something for the guy unless you're going to just wait for a draft pick. You know, if you hold on to him for the full year.
The 2-2. Lindor lost the bat. Back to the screen it goes. A lot of it depends on, look, there are other pitchers available. I mean, you got Johnny Cueto, who's
David
out
Price.
there. David Price, who's possibly available now.
Let me think. Yes, you have a few pitchers that could be on the move. But what is it going to take?
Yep.
You know, how much are you willing to give up? And I don't know. Sometimes I think the longer you wait, the tougher it is to get more.
There was also a report by Jeff Passan of Yahoo Sports that the Blue Jays had inquired about Carlos Carrasco.
They're looking for pitching.
Now the 3-2 pitch.
They need some pitching.
Lindor bounces one back through the box, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight, just their second hit in the game. And that's going to bring up Michael Brantley as Lindor stays hot.
Well, let's see if they can do anything with the leadoff man aboard. First time it happened tonight.
There's Carlos Carrasco. Chris Antonetti told me earlier today, look, it's natural for teams to talk to us about our young starting pitching.
Sure.
This didn't surprise them. They're going to field phone calls. You're certainly going to listen. You're going to hear what people have to say, what maybe they have to offer. But he said, we have no intention of trading our young starting pitchers.
No, but if something comes around that, you know, is interesting, I'm sure they listen, like anybody.
Yeah, if somebody blows you away, you'd have to at least consider it.
Yes. All right. If they want Carrasco, I want to hear what they have to offer. Who do they want to give up? That's what I would like to hear. We don't hear that. Toronto should go after some pitching.
You know,
they need bullpen help too.
That's the other thing too. With most of these trades, rumored or real, Brantley with a fly ball to fairly deep center, but Eaton will make the catch. Lindor back to first, one away. We don't know the other team's minor league systems. We have a pretty good feel for who's in the Indians farm system. We get to see a lot of those guys in spring training, but we don't know who Toronto has in their farm system. It's just like we saw the trade, that the Kazmir trade. We don't know who those guys are that are going from Houston back to Oakland in that deal.
I did see something where the GM for Toronto mentioned something that he would trade off their 25-man roster if need be. You know, so who knows? You're right. I mean, we're not privy to it, and you know, you can talk about it all the time. They've got guys that talk about it daily. You know, on your news or sports talk shows, and you just never know.
This is that time of year, though.
Do you get caught up into it? Do you like it?
I like to watch it and just to see.
I really don't even like to watch. I think that's from being the player in me from years ago. Sometimes there's a lot of nonsense.
Right back up the middle, but it's cut off by Ramirez. He flips it to second for one, but they won't turn the double play. Murphy beats it out. Still a sensational effort by Ramirez, who flagged it down. He flat out stole a hit from Murphy. And then a great flip to Sanchez to get the out at second right from his glove.
I mean to tell you, that was about as good as you can do. And I can't believe that they almost turned the double play. That thing was, that's a beautiful play by Sanchez. Well done on both ends for the White Sox. Very well done. Over the head, and Murphy needed that hit for his own psyche. But look at that.
That's literally out of his glove.
There was more ball out of the glove than it was in the fingers. What a great play. More times than not, that ball's going to fall out of the glove.
Absolutely.
When you're landing. It didn't do it. Didn't happen.
It's got to stick him on the end of that glove.
Yeah, it might.
Santana really fooled and waves at it, 0-2.
I mean, you watch the ball, it's at the end of the glove. Usually when you hit the ground, the ball's going to boom, kick out of it. It just stayed right there, and he flipped it. Sanchez able to barehand it and even make a throw to get it across. That's a great play. All the way around.
You think, too, if that's an outfielder's glove, that ball pops out because it's a little bigger,
it's
a little floppier.
Flimsier. The infielders break it like this down, so to say, down to the heel, where they can catch it, it stays in, or it turns it in.
Yeah.
Outfielders are long, so when you dive, you can try and get them. Not like that. It would have probably popped out, yes.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Santana. Murphy's at first with 2 away. Indians down 4. Bounced it in front of the plate. Soto's been in the dirt a lot during this at bat. Full count. So Murphy will be off at first base. And a 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Samardzija gets his second strikeout of the game. And after 4 innings of play, the White Sox holding on to a 4-0 lead. is brought to you by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers, by the Cleveland Clinic. Call for an appointment today. And by the game-changing all-new Ford F-150. The future is tough. Fifth inning, and the White Sox lead it by a score of 4-0. Top of the order for Chicago, Adam Eaton to lead it off. You know, it's been almost 30 years since Hawk Harrelson was a general manager for the Chicago White Sox. But that doesn't mean the folks in the Windy City have forgotten his tenure. Adam Eaton just launches one out of here. A leadoff man for Chicago.
So you mentioned Hawk, and they put it on the board.
Yes. Third home run allowed by Bauer. 2 solo shots and a 3-runner. And the Sox, all their runs coming via the long ball, lead it 5-0.
Well, let's go. It looks like a fastball to me. There it is, right there. Eaton turned on it, and he puts it into the right field seats. That's his 8th.
So Tyler Saladino 0 for 2 at the plate. So Hawk Harrelson, 1986, almost 30 years ago. He was the general manager. He made 2 moves that year that the Chicago Sun-Times wanted to remind him and anybody else about today.
Oh, yeah, because of the anniversary?
He fired Tony La Russa. Ground ball to short. As the Sox manager, of course, he went on to Oakland and from there to the Hall of Fame. He also, right before the trading deadline, to the day, 29 years ago today, he traded Bobby Bonilla to the Pirates for Jose De Leon.
Okay.
De Leon lasted 1 season for the White Sox.
Ouch.
Bobby Bo had a really good career. Went to the postseason 6 times, won a world championship with the Marlins, 7-time All-Star. So it just goes
what
to,
hurts more is trading La Russa, I think.
Or you firing him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point being, at this time of year, general managers, you're trying to improve your club, but you might get caught up in the emotion. I'm not sure what happens sometimes, but you might make a move where you think you're doing the right thing for your club. And
well, yeah, you're always trying to do the right thing. But, you know, I guess you can look at every organization, every team, and say, okay, let's go reflect back on some of the moves that were made at the trading deadline. And everybody has a stinker. And I'm sure everybody's got some good ones to go with it. Not an easy thing to do.
No, because you don't get a second chance. You don't get the do-over. I mean, once you say, okay, we'll do the deal, it's over. You have to live with it.
Well, 84, the Indians trade Rick Sutcliffe to the Chicago Cubs. He goes on to win Cy Young over there in Chicago.
Well, Melky Cabrera beefing with home plate umpire Marty Foster. Oh, he's really giving it to Foster here. Robin Ventura out just to make sure Cabrera doesn't get the heave-ho. That's John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, down at third base. That's who he wanted him to appeal to. And Foster said, I don't need to appeal. I think he went around. And I think he probably should have appealed.
Yeah. You know what? And that's why Cabrera's arguing. And that's where you will get arguments. And we've seen that more this year where home plate umpires will make the call instead of asking. And I think that's where more hitters get upset. And that's where we've seen a number of ejections because they just say, hey, I just asked you to get some help. Ask him and see what he thinks. You know, because it's tough enough. When you're looking at a pitch in the dirt as an umpire, it's tough to see the bat of the hitter and where it goes. So, you know, rightfully so, when in doubt, ask.
Right at Santana. And the inning is over, but another long ball from Chicago. This one from Adam Eaton. The Ohioan hits his 8th of the year, and the Sox lead it 5-0. Now the White Sox are in front 5-0, bottom of the fifth, and the Indians will send Yan Gomes, Brandon Moss, Mike Aviles to the plate against Jeff Samardzija. Gomes struck out his first and only time up in the second inning. Low and away, ball one. High pop on the infield. LaRoche, the first baseman, makes the catch, one away. Saturday, it's a doubleheader. A's and the Giants. The Bay Series. Then it's the Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals. That coverage begins 4 Eastern on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Moss shoots one toward left. Coming in and making the basket catch is Melky Cabrera. 2 down.
Yeah, he made up some ground. He didn't get a good jump on it. He sort of broke back and had to come in, but ends up making the catch anyway. See, there you go. He's telling him he had a tough time picking it up. I don't know if it was in the lights or it was in the sky. I'm not sure, but it was a tough time of day, but he made up some ground to pick it.
In there for a strike.
What?
Missed inside. No, called a strike. Avila's not so sure about that. It's 1-2. Cardinals lead the Royals 4-2. They're in the fourth inning. St. Louis leads all of baseball with 60 wins on the year. Kansas City is second with 57. Now the 2-2. Avila shoots one to center field. Jogging back is Adam Eaton and makes the catch. Indians go in a hurry. Just 8 pitches. They go 1-2-3. We go to the 6th. 5-0 Chicago. And a photo of the game. Tweet your fan photo to hashtag STO Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Adam LaRoche will lead off for the White Sox here in the 6th inning. Pitch over the outside corner is a strike to LaRoche. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Came in batting just 140 in his previous 18 games.
Yes, he did.
He sure did, indeed. Well, LaRoche has struck out twice now. And he's been chasing pitches not even near the strike zone. 7 Ks for Bauer. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. It's been all home runs for Chicago. Solo shot, 3-runner, and another solo dinger. Cabrera, Ramirez, and Eaton. Done all the damage against Trevor Bauer. He's given up 17 home runs on the year. Elevated fastball, it's 0-1. Pulls it foul. The USA Junior Women's National Softball Team, fast pitch team, is here at the ball game tonight. They've been training down in Canton, getting ready for the World Championships in Oklahoma City next month.
Is Warren here with him?
He might be. They're down in section 185. Congratulations and good luck to the women's junior national team. Now a 1-2. Swung on and missed. It's in the dirt, and Gomes will have to throw to first. He does. 2 down, 8 strikeouts now for Bauer.
Well, play of the game right here. Ramirez getting it at the end of his glove and getting it over to Sanchez with an opportunity to turn it. They do get the lead runner, but boy, a base hit there, you just never know. Look at that, right at the end of his glove, and he flips it out to the bare hand of Sanchez. Nice play. Oh, and by the way, he hit a 3-run home run too in the 4th inning. You remember that last at bat before he hit the home run? The first pitch with a fastball was up and in and really backed him off, and it I think surprised Ramirez, and then Bauer came back with a changeup, and it was a poor located one, and he knocked it out of the ballpark.
That foul ball got a piece of Yan Gomes. Boy, how many times you see this happen? Guy exposes that leg and it gets hit.
Yeah, I know it, but there's nothing yet. It's all part of catching.
Chased one in the dirt. And Trevor Bauer strikes out the side on 11 pitches here in the 6th inning. But the White Sox lead it 5-0. White Sox on top 5-0. Bottom of the 6th inning. Michael Bourne, Jason Kipnis, and Francisco Lindor due up for the try. Bourne had a great at bat his first time up. With 2 outs, he doubled to right field, but the Indians were unable to get him home. Now he goes after the first pitch, jumps on it, and singles to right field. Second time tonight, the Indians get their leadoff man aboard.
I'll tell you what, Michael Bourne in the 2 at-bats tonight that I've seen looks so free, and he's turning on the ball. And that swing is so much quicker. Instead of trying to push it the other way, he's swinging the bat.
Well, let's go to the top of the order and see if the Indians can start a rally here. Jason Kipnis 0 for 2. He had hit in 5 straight coming into tonight. Takes ball 1 outside. For all of the Indians' struggles here at home this year, Jason Kipnis has thrived at Progressive Field, batting .372.
Yeah, it was up over 400 for the longest time. With a 29-game hitting streak here.
Big, slow chopper to second. The only play at first. Kipnis is out number 1. Bourne moves into scoring position.
Well, guarantee some of our most exciting promotional items this season by purchasing a promo pass for an additional $5. Promo passes ensures fans get a promotional item no matter what time they arrive at the ballpark. Just visit Indians.com promo pass for more details.
Francisco Lindor takes down and in, ball 1. Lindor singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. 9 hits now in his last 25 at bats.
Samardzij's first 2-0 count of the night.
Right back up the middle, and Lindor is 2 for 3 on the ball game, and he's got an RBI. The Indians are on the board. His 12th run batted into the season plates Michael Bourne, and it's a 5-1 ball game. Both hits for Lindor tonight, just bouncers right back up the middle.
Right, yeah, the big part of the ballpark. You get it past the pitcher. This time it drives in a run. His 12th RBI. Make this our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Samardzija left that pitch up in the strike zone. It looked like a 2-seamer he left up that Francisco Lindor took advantage of. So that'll drive in Bourne. So the leadoff man, they cash that in. Make it a 5-1 ball game.
Throw to first, close play, but Lindor back safely. And Brantley takes a fastball belt high. Well, Michael Brantley got the Indians back in it yesterday. His 3-run homer really ignited the Indians' entire ball club.
You know, that's been the toughest thing for the Indians when they've been behind so far this year, is to hit a 3-pointer like that and get you right back into the game, and it sure did. It gave that offense a little excitement.
Got in on him just enough. Brantley pounds his bat in the turf in disappointment. I think he thought he had a pitch there to do some damage with, but it just got in on him.
That happens.
Couldn't quite barrel it up. 2 down. Up comes David Murphy. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, he was the one robbed by Ramirez up the middle when they made that beautiful play you've seen a couple of times tonight.
Lindor draws a throw back with a dive. "75 pitches on the night for Samardzija. 46 of those have been strikes. I'm sure it's helped him a lot that the Sox have gone out and scored some runs for him tonight, but early on when it was a tight game, he was still throwing extremely well.
Well, you know, anytime you're a starting pitcher, you go out there and you can get that starter who's been pitching well, which he has. A couple of runs early in the ball game, boy, that gives them just a, they can relax a little bit, go free and easy.
It was scoreless through 3, and then in the 4th inning, the White Sox jumped Bauer for 4 runs, added 1 in the 5th. Indians on the board here in the 6th. Runner at first, 2 down. Back out of play. Four-game series between Cleveland and Chicago beginning tonight. And the rest of the series, the Indians will see nothing but left-handed starters for Chicago. Quintana, Sale, and Rodon, all lefties. There's the matchup tomorrow with Corey Kluber against Jose Quintana. Very, very similar numbers.
Well, they got Kluber some runs last time out in Cincinnati. They had a field day. They scored as many runs in that start as they did in the 6 prior starts.
On the year, Indians have gone 13-20 against left-handed starters. Well, Samardzija ready with a 1-2. Murphy trying to punch one in to center field. But Eaton able to run it down and end the inning. Tribe gets on the board. Through 6, it's Chicago 5, Cleveland 1. Kia. Visit mykiacleveland.com to learn more. By Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture and freestanding locations. And by AT&T Uverse, has more channels on the go than cable. (5-1) Chicago. And here in the 7th inning, White Sox will send Giovanni Soto, Carlos Sanchez, and Adam Eaton to the plate against Trevor Bauer. Indians bullpen is busy. Kyle Crockett getting loose. Bauer, 9 pitches shy of 100.
Well, the long ball has hurt him tonight. A couple of mistakes. He has 9 strikeouts. He's walked 1. And he's given up 6 hits, and 3 of them left the yard, and has done all the damage. 2 solo home runs and a 3-run homer. Soto's been a strikeout victim twice tonight.
Try to get him to chase. They've done that a number of times. Chase that pitch out of the strike zone. Upstairs. Bauer has walked his second batter of the game. Let's go downstairs to Andre Knott.
Well, we didn't think the news on Nick Hagedorn was good. Today we found out that we are correct. He was evaluated yesterday and today down in Florida by Dr. James Andrews. He will be out 6 to 9 months as he has an elbow injury that basically he's going to have a surgery on. It's the same problem that Oakland Athletics pitcher Jared Parker just had. So Nick Hagedorn will be out for the next 6 to 9 months with an elbow injury.
You didn't want to take a shot at that?
Nah, I figured I'd let you guys have it. You guys had enough fun with me today.
The medial epicondyle?
Epicondyle. Very nice.
I'll see that.
Yeah.
I wanted Rick to say it. I knew you could do it.
I couldn't say it. That's why Matt had to.
Well, we wish Nick the best. It's going to require some surgery, and it looks like, as Andre said, we'll hopefully see him back pitching next year. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made for Kyle Crockett. We'll be right back. 5-1 Chicago, and the new Indians pitcher is left-hander Kyle Crockett, coming on in relief of Trevor Bauer tonight. Crockett's 9th appearance of the year. He's got the switch hitter Carlos Sanchez coming up. Crockett's 3rd stint with the big league club this year. He was called up when Nick Hagedorn, who we were just talking about before we went to break, went on the DL, and now it's been revealed that Hagedorn will need some surgery. It's not the reconstructive elbow surgery that is so commonly heard about, pitchers. This one's
Did Nick have the reconstructive surgery in 2008? Do you know?
I'd have to look. I don't remember exactly.
I don't remember, but I think he had it in 2008. He had some kind of elbow surgery.
Let me check here.
You're Dr. Underwood. He had Tommy John, I think.
He had elbow reconstructive surgery.
That was in 2008.
That would be Tommy John.
Yes.
So this is again, it's not Tommy John, but it's in the same area. It's near the ulnar collateral ligament, and it's a little bone that fractured, and surgery is what they recommended. This is a gap shot, right center field in the alley, all the way to the wall. Soto coming around 3rd. He'll get the stop sign from Joe McEwing. And the White Sox have runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out.
Well, that's just it. There with nobody out, they're stopping him. They're not going to take a chance and be aggressive. Got the top of your lineup coming up, but Crockett gets a ball elevated. Sanchez drilled it into right center field. Plugs the gap, gets his 9th double. 7th hit for the White Sox, and they got a chance to really crack it open now.
Adam Eaton homered his last time up. The infield is in for Cleveland, and the pitch is in for a strike from Crockett. Out of play, and the count 0-2. Chopped to short. Lindor looks the runner back to 3rd. Throws Eaton out, 1 away.
I'll tell you, Sanchez back there is he better be careful. He wanted to run to 3rd base, but you got to make sure that guy at 3rd moves first. So there's step 1 of the process. You watch him behind him. He wanted to go. He says, "Oh, that's right. There's somebody over there at 3rd base. I better wait," even though the ball is in front of him. And you have a catcher over there at 3rd base. So, again, they'll make this ball go through with Soto at 3rd.
Saladino 0 for 3 on the night. Pops one back out of play. A little bit high. Second and third, 1 out. Crockett trying to work out of a jam with the Indians already down 4. And that is going to be caught in right field by Moss, but he can't get up and make a play as Soto tags and scores. And the White Sox lead is now 6-1. There are 2 down on the inning. Terrific catch by Moss, who laid out in right field.
Well, he did everything in his power. You get the out. Sure, they get the run. But that would have been a base hit. It would have been first and third, and the inning's still going. But he makes a nice catch. Run scores on the sac fly. It's 6-1.
That run charged to Trevor Bauer and closes the book. 6 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings tonight. And now Melky Cabrera tees off again. Wow. Cabrera with his 2nd home run of the night. And that's the 4th home run of the game for Chicago in a 2-run blast here in the 7th inning.
I'll tell you what. That is the first time this year they've hit 4 in a game. They had 3 homers 4 times in a game. But that was a line drive, and he hits one from each side of the plate. Listen to this. They knew it as soon as it left the bat. It's 8-1 now. And Chicago dialing up the long ball.
This is kind of what Rick Hahn had in mind when he put this team together in the offseason, but it just has not come to fruition. But here tonight, the White Sox are battering the Indians. 8 runs on 8 hits.
Again, we're talking about you talk about a game like this. We just come home off the road, and it's the first game of a series where the Indians have had a hard time playing this year. We are 2-13 in series openers here in this ballpark. 9-22 overall, and it's another bad start to a 4-game series.
Now the White Sox had only hit 6 home runs in the 9 prior matchups against the Indians this year. 4 here tonight. They lead it 8-1, and it's time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Well, now it's 8-1 Chicago. Santana, Gomes, and Moss are due up for Cleveland here in the 7th. That ball's hit high in the air.
Boy,
deep center
tough to
field.
see.
Eaton Right on the front part of the warning track. One away.
I lost it in the twilight.
Time for a Mazda game break. Let's go to our man on the twilight, Al Pulowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, yep, over in the corner, checking out the Mets and Dodgers here in the 7th inning. Clayton Kershaw, a perfect game until Curtis Granderson breaks it up with a single. They're now in the 8th. Dodgers lead the Mets 1-0. Matt, Rick?
Well, there's the hot corner. That would be the cold corner down there in the shade and the shadows. The cool corner.
Yeah, but it's July, so it's okay.
The frosty corner. Serve up the frosty mugs.
Yeah, right.
Yan Gomes is 0 for 2 on the night.
I'd like to send out our condolences to Steve Warren and his wife Cheryl on the loss of his dad. Passed away. And our thoughts and prayers are with you, Steve. Hope all goes well, buddy.
Oh, 2 to Gomes. Popped foul out of play to the right.
So far tonight, 11 guys Samardzija has retired on 3 pitches or less. Make it 12.
Another broken bat, too. 2 down.
Off the end, and it's broke because of the frustration.
I was going to say, it wasn't broken on the swing, was it? It was broken when he swung it into the ground. Now, Samardzija's pitched well tonight. It's easy to sit here and watch the Indians tonight and say, they're struggling again. They're not hitting again. I think tonight you just have to look at number 29 in black. He has pitched very well. He's done what he does when he has success. He gets some broken bats, gets them to beat it into the ground.
He's looking for his 9th consecutive start of 7 or more innings. He's 1 out away from that, and you think that's a lock. And he's pitched very well for him. The month of July has been lights out.
Well, you know that there are scouts watching this game from various teams that have an interest in Samardzija, and they're going to report back that he looks very good, I'm sure. As they say, it takes 2 to make a deal, though. Whether or not the White Sox can find a trade partner, only time will tell, but Samardzija didn't even realize that's a 3rd out of the inning. Indians go 1-2-3. Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Stay tuned for Indians Live, presented by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care, coming up next here on Sports Time Ohio. Jeff Manship makes his 9th appearance of the year for the Indians. No wins or losses, ERA of 0.82. He's done a very nice job working out of the Tribe's bullpen. 7 of his 8 appearances have been scoreless, and the opposition has gone 4 for 35 against him.
That is lights out.
Roberto Perez has taken over behind the plate for Yan Gomes. We're in the 8th inning. LaRoche, Garcia, and Ramirez due for Chicago. The White Sox, the lowest scoring team in the American League, but they are enjoying a breakout night here at Progressive Field with an 8 spot on the board. And it's not just that Chicago was the lowest scoring team in the league. They were the lowest scoring team by a bunch.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show you, they're still big league hitters, and you don't make pitches, they can hurt you.
For example, we know the Indians have had their troubles offensively. Coming into tonight, the Tribe was 11th in the league in runs. They'd scored 370. The White Sox just 310. And I mean, Rick, at the beginning of the year, of all the teams you could pick in the American League and say, who do you think will be dead last in scoring? This would not have been one of the teams you would have chosen.
I don't think so. But when it's all said and done, and you look at all the numbers and you crunch them, and sometimes numbers can be a deceiving thing, they're still only 2.5 games behind the Indians in the standings. When you look at all those numbers and you try and process them. Their pitching has kept them in a lot of games. They played 38 one-run games. 19 and 17, where the Indians are just 9 and 10, 19. So, they've doubled it. We also want to send our condolences out to Carol McDermott and Brian. Carol's mom passed away as well. So where our thoughts and prayers are with you, Carol and Brian.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear it.
Inside corner, a called third strike. LaRoche, the hat trick. He's punched out 3 times. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. It's been a 4-homer night for Chicago. It started with a solo shot by Cabrera, and then 4 batters later, Alexi Ramirez hit a 3-run shot. Then Adam Eaton in the 5th inning hit a solo jack, and then in the 7th, Melky Cabrera, a 2-run homer. Somewhere in the midst of that, Tyler Saladino hit a sac fly. No one will read about that in the paper tomorrow, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, they don't care. That's getting another run home. When you're starved for runs, you don't care how they score. You just get them in. Again, you got to get in there, and the White Sox are thinking along the same lines as the Indians. We got to get back into our division. We have to play better. We've got to do certain things. Their record in the Central is worse than ours. They've won 2 more games. They're 16, but they've lost 6 more. They're coming in 16 and 28. Where the Indians were coming in 14 and 22.
To shortstop, Lindor. Garcia beats it out.
Well, he'll get a base hit, but that's a play. He gets down the line pretty well. I want to see if Lindor laid back on the ball. You see, he's coming from the right side. He puts his head down. And that's like a routine ground ball. Lindor had to lay back on it. Let's see. Yes, he did. He laid back on it. He didn't realize the speed of Garcia. He was tricked right there. That's the rookie not knowing the speed of a guy going down the line. He stayed back he was almost on the outfield grass.
To third, Aviles has it, goes to second. There's one on to first, an inning-ending double play. We'll go to the bottom of the eighth. It's 8-1 Chicago. Eight-1 Chicago as we go to the bottom of the eighth inning. New second baseman is Lurie Garcia. Jeff Samardzija has thrown 13 consecutive strikes.
Yeah, you gave him enough support in the fourth, and he's been on cruise control.
Back out of play. It's 0-2, and he's just now going to make his 90th pitch of the night.
A couple of starts ago, he went against the Toronto Blue Jays, one of the best offense, or the best offense in the game. He had a complete game, 4 hits, did not allow a run, 1 walk and 5 strikeouts.
Well, because early in his career he was a closer, relief pitcher, I think a lot of people feel like as a starter, he might have some longevity, just maybe getting into the real prime.
Where the innings hasn't eaten up or taken advantage of his arm.
You think about a lot of free agent pitchers get to that 6-year mark, they've built up a lot of innings.
Yeah.
This guy maybe not. Out of play. What I suppose, Rick, remains to be seen, and we don't get to see him a lot, but teams that are looking at him, is he a guy that you look at as an anchor of a rotation, an ace, or a guy that fits in the middle?
I would say a guy that fits in the middle. He'd be a great complementary piece. Number 3 guy, he'd be great. If you're looking to get him and maybe be your number 1, I don't know.
I think that's why
there's not many of those guys out there.
Well, I'm sure that's why the White Sox are a little dumbfounded. You've got Chris Sale, you've got Samardzija, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. Now, granted, the rest of the rotation hasn't been that good this year. But you would think with those two guys alone, you're not going to have many losing streaks.
Yeah, well, what do you have to pay Samardzija to keep him there? Because you're going to pay Chris Sale, you know that. Or they're paying Chris Sale, I should say.
Well, we already know what the going rate is for starting pitchers just from the numbers we've seen in recent years, and it's astronomical.
And that guy's about as good as you get. We'll see him in the series, I think on Saturday. It'll be Carrasco against Chris Sale.
Bourne wraps it on the ground to second base. 2 down. Well, as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Samardzija, who knows? Is it his last start in a White Sox uniform? Maybe. Maybe not. But he's been very good here tonight. What he has done is he sent every scout here who came to see him tonight back to his hotel room tonight, writing a glowing report to the front office about him. I mean, there isn't anything that he's done tonight that they can't be pleased with.
Well, he's been pretty darn consistent when it comes to pitches through the order. First time through 39, second time through 27, and the third time through 31.
And it only took him 12 pitches to set him down 1-2-3 here in the 8th. And Total Car Care coming up next here on Sports Time Ohio. Jeff Manship pitched one scoreless inning of relief for the Indians tonight. And now Mark Zepchinski will come on to pitch in the 9th. The 4th Indians pitcher to work here tonight. Giovanni Soto, Carlos Sanchez, and Adam Eaton due up for Chicago. Back out of play. St. Louis still leads Kansas City 4-2. They're in the 7th inning at Busch Stadium. Who knows, Rick? It could be a World Series preview, right?
Yeah.
Just like
yes, it
80,
could.
was it
I-70.
85?
Yep. Sure was. It could be. There'll be other teams that have something to say about it. I'm sure the Dodgers are looking that way. Washington. Angels are starting to play well.
Hit hard, and on one hop, Lindor tracks it down from the outfield grass.
How
He
about
throws
that?
him out.
That's a good play. Boy, he just looked like that arm came out of his uniform to catch that ball, but he did it in stride. It took a nice hop up. He gathers himself, took his time, made a nice strong throw, get the out.
And to your point, last inning, I think he's still learning. And John McDonald told me when he first came up, look, there's going to be times where he's going to make mistakes because he has to experience things like
the league,
like Avisail Garcia, thinking he had time to gather himself and make the throw, and then looking up and saying, "Whoa, that guy gets down a lot faster than I realized."
That's right.
There's a base hit by Sanchez, his second hit of the night. Rather, Lurie Garcia, who came on for Carlos Sanchez.
12,500 fans will receive a Larry Doby replica statue courtesy of KeyBank. That'll take place on Saturday. The Indians host the White Sox. All fans can enjoy post-game fireworks. Go to Indians.com.
One on, one out for Adam Eaton. But just to finish that thought on Lindor, Max said there are a lot of things that you learn as a player, as a shortstop, just by experience, like what guys who are base stealers at second base, what they do to sort of set you up, to lull you to sleep, and then take off to steal third. He said those are things you just hard to maybe pick up on a scouting report, and you just have to experience them firsthand. Aviles with a great pick. And he throws out Eaton for out number 2. Garcia goes into scoring position.
You learn on a daily basis. You know, no matter when you go out there, Mike he made the decision early he was going to charge the ball. The right decision to make. A guy that can run going down the line. You can't wait back on it. He knew he was going to get a tough hop, but he picks it cleanly, and his momentum coming the way it was going, he had to go to first base. You couldn't go to second. So you get the out at first, good play.
Just like I'm sure as a center fielder, you learned early on, not that you didn't want to charge every ball hard, but there were probably certain hitters that if you didn't charge it hard, they were going to go to second base.
Well, for an example, I was a rookie just starting to play center field and playing the Boston Red Sox, and, you know, Carl Yastrzemski, who was a veteran at the time, hits a little ground ball up the middle, and what happens? I put my head down. Next thing I know, he's on second base. I learned.
The veteran got you.
Yeah, he did.
We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It's Chicago 8, Cleveland 1. Looking back at our keys to the game, brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Indians are looking for Trevor Bauer to turn it around at home, but boy, home has not been where his heart has been this year. 6 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings of work tonight. The home run ball got him. They gave up, they got him for 3 home runs, 2 solo shots and a 3-runner. And the Indians haven't had any opportunities with runners in scoring position. Samardzija just smothered them. They only had 4 hits in the game against Samardzija, who's out after 8 innings of work.
Well, that's a heck of a job. A nice start. Give him a little support. He did his job. That's for sure. He's talking to everybody before he leaves.
Only walked 3, or he didn't walk a batter, and that's he struck out 3.
That's the key. When you have a team like the Indians, you don't give them any extra base runners, and I'll tell you what, the way they're hitting and swinging the bat, you got a pretty good chance to keep them under 3 runs.
Zach Putnam, the former Indian, will pitch here in the 9th. Putnam to face Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, and David Murphy. The Indians have 4 hits tonight. Lindor has 2 of them. Michael Bourne has the other 2. Bullseye, 2-1. Count back to even at 2-2. And he strikes him out. Soto hangs on. 1 away here in the 9th. Michael Brantley 0 for 3. He had hit in 5 straight coming in. The 5 straight representing all 5 games on the road trip coming out of the All-Star break. 9 for 19 with 9 runs batted in. But tonight, a ground out, couple of flyouts. A little bit outside, and it's 3-0. Brantley's not about to give in just because it's an 8-1 score in the 9th.
No, Michael does not give at-bats away.
Wow. I don't know. 3-1.
Yeah, that was the courtesy call. 8-1 ball game, 3-0 count. Okay, that's a strike.
That's low, ball 4. So Brantley is aboard with 1 out. Battle Bride Chevrolet play of the game. Alexei Ramirez.
Yeah.
The dagger, a 3-run homer in the 4th inning. Made it 4-0, and the Sox never looked back.
No, they continue to add on with the home runs. Hit 4 tonight.
Melky Cabrera, meanwhile, hit 2 home runs tonight, 1 from each side of the plate. The first White Sox hitter to do that since Nick Swisher 7 years ago against the Indians. So 1 on, 1 out for David Murphy, and he squibs one foul at the third baseline. Zach Putnam deals, and Murphy grounds it to first. LaRoche will take it himself. Brantley moves into scoring position, and there are 2 down. Carlos Santana is 0 for 3 on the night. Trying to hold up, did he? He did not go around. Santana with a runner in scoring position and 2 out here in the 9th inning. Takes a look. It's 3-0. The way the White Sox have pitched him this year, he'll take a walk. Just 2 out of 24 against Chicago pitching. And that just did catch the bottom of the strike zone. If Santana gets aboard, Roberto Perez would be next. Fouled right back. Now the payoff pitch. And a foul over toward the on-deck circle. Robin Ventura's club trying to stop a 4-game losing streak. They're 1 strike away. The payoff pitch to Santana is swung on and missed. The game is over. Chicago wins it by a final score of 8-1. Ending their 4-game skid, they go to 43-50. The Indians are 45-49. They drop yet another series opener here at home, and on the season just 19-27 here at Progressive Field for Cleveland. Jeff Samardzija gets the win. He's 7-5. Trevor Bauer the loss. He's 8-7 now on the year. Interesting in that this was a Chicago White Sox lineup that came in tonight just 11 for 62, a 177 collective average for the guys in the lineup tonight against Bauer. But you wouldn't know it by the way they came out and swung the bats, especially in that fourth inning.
Well, Trevor had his way with the Sox for 3 consecutive starts. And, I mean, it was dynamite. It should have been 3-0. Bullpen gave up one of his wins. But, you know, that one big inning, he made a mistake, an 0-2 pitch that got it started in the fourth to Cabrera. Home run. And then they singled. He got a strikeout. Then they get another single. And then the big bomb was the 3-run home run from Alexei Ramirez. And then they added another one after that. And, you know, they just never regrouped. It was just Chicago long ball. First time all year long they've hit 4 home runs in a game.
Yeah, the White Sox, the lowest scoring team in the American League, but you wouldn't know it by the way they came out and swung the bats tonight here at Progressive Field. We'll see if the Indians can bounce back tomorrow in Game 2 of this 4-game series. It's all left-handed starters the rest of the way in this series for the Indians as they try to break through against Chicago. For Rick Manning and Andre Knott, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Indians Live is next.